Honestly, something I've been wanting to talk about. I got a lovely audience here today. You guys hanging out with me. We're eating mad good, bro. Fighting games are at an all-time high. Strive released. We got King of Fighters on the way. We got DNF Duel on the way. We got Project L on the way. Biken got announced. It's been good news all around. And you know what? To top it all off, Blaze Blue is getting rollback, baby. I wanted to talk about something really quickly before I do. A little bit of YouTube content, a little bit of streamer shilling, you know what I mean? And I actually wanted to talk about a concept that a lot of you guys know. If you've ever been in the fighting game community, a big part of playing and fighting games is nostalgia. And I feel like whenever people talk about nostalgia, it's sort of like this stigma, right? Because every new game that's ever been released gets compared to older games in a bad way, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got into fighting games, just a tiny bit, right? But imagine you're me, right? Buying skins on League of Legends, staying up late watching anime. Everybody's been there, watching Yu Yu Hakusho, watching Trigun. You're a little bit of a weeb, right? And then you walk into GameStop and you're like, what game am I gonna play this weekend? What do I wanna do? And you sit there and you come in, you talk to the game shop guy, and he's behind him on the back of the wall. You see this shit. You see this. And you're a weeb, right? So your curiosity is piqued. You ask that guy, hey man, what is that game? And he's like, oh dude, this game is so sick. It's a new fighting game and it's all about time travel, right? And you're like, I can dig that. So you buy it for $60 and enter the beautiful, beautiful 240p action of the Blaze Blue scene. Love that music, bro. In this game, you know, I'm sure if you guys have watched Lord Knight, I'm sure if you guys have checked out any of his streams, if you've watched him talk about fighting games, you've seen him talk about this game in particular, right? Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger in its 240p glory, bro. Back in 2009, I saw Bang Shishigami, and I decided to pick that motherfucker up instantaneously. I got okay, right? Like, this wasn't the game that I got into. Like, it was my first fighting game. The worse the quality, the better the gameplay. It's actually true. And that not only goes for how bad the game is, but how bad it looks too, right? These pixel graphics, 2009, beautiful. Beautiful to me. And you know, seeing the moving backgrounds, seeing these unique characters, brought me into the fighting game genre. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the fact that these games are so popular to so many people, right? And you see these games kind of get put on a little bit of a pedestal. Most people, right, they see these games, they see old Guilty Gear, they see Accent Core, and they're like, man, fighting games will never be like this again, right? So I started with this game, and you know, Blaze Blue is not exactly the most alive game ever. Right now it is because of the rollback patch, right? But until recently, right, probably only like 40 people on Central Fiction total, like on concurrent. Me and my buddy picked it up before Strive, and it was absolutely dead. But you know, this is the game that started my path to fighting games. And it was such a fun game that I stuck with it, and nothing else really seemed to satisfy me anymore. I feel like after I played Calamity Trigger, I tried Street Fighter, I tried Tekken, I tried both Street Fighter 4 and 5, I tried Tekken, I tried Skullgirls, I tried Them's Fighting Herds. That's when you know you're desperate, bro, is when you play Them's Fighting Herds unironically, right? And they were all good games, but they didn't feel good, right? And so I'd been waiting for Strive for like 4 years with the rest of you guys ever since it got announced to Arc Revo. And it was the game that got me into the tournament scene. And this is me now playing against Moises in a grand finals, right? And so my perspective of playing fighting games had been grown from the nostalgia of playing Blaze Blue. So cut to now, right? And Strive is getting released. And finally, I feel like I'm playing BlazBlue again. Finally, I feel like I'm air dashing. I'm playing sick nasty combos with, I still call them rapid cancels, right? And so I feel like a lot of people get caught up in nostalgia, but in the bad way. I feel like people were complaining so much about Strive, and honestly, like, to me, it was a harkening back to when I first got into fighting games and what I loved about fighting games. And I feel like the biggest struggle in the fighting game community is that you kind of have to look forward to the things that your nostalgia brings you, right? Like, if a new BlazBlue gets released, I'm just going to be happy that there's more BlazBlue. If a new Guilty Gear gets released, I'm just going to be glad that Guilty Gear is still alive, just like I'm glad that Strive's here. So really this video is kind of short. It's sort of an intro to the idea that I got into fighting games from BlazBlue and what I'm feeling now playing Strive with all these great people. But I just implore people who get kind of salty at the way that Guilty Gear is now, that it's not like Guilty Gear, to just be happy that our franchise is still alive. Use that nostalgia to be excited and bring more people in. And like you're saying, Bros Rush, like, the grass is always greener on the other side. Like, we could all go back and play ACR plus R, but honestly, right, like, the future is here, right? You got to play the new games and enjoy the old games too. So anyways, that's sort of my take on the whole situation. It's a little late, I feel like, getting to the scene of people complaining about Strive, but I feel like it's going to come up recently, or it will come up when newer BlazBlues come out, when DNF Duel drops, and it's kind of like Strive, and people are mad that it's not more like Guilty Gear's older games. And I just want to encourage people to be positive at the things that Arc System Works continues to do, because they created that feeling for us back in the day, and now they're creating more stuff for us, and it's for us, right? Like, we're the fans, and we should love the things that the creators do. And I'm not saying to, like, not complain about the things that are actually broken, right? Like the lobby systems, but still, you got to be thankful for the new content that continues to be produced, especially for these, like, labors of love, like Guilty Gear and BlazBlue. I mean, that's pretty much the entirety of what I wanted to talk about while I had y'all here. Thanks for joining me. And thanks for the sick raids. It was super dope. If you check me out on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're here with me on Twitch, make sure you follow so I can get affiliate and give you guys sick emotes. But let's play some games.